Welcome to the Discover Montcalm Podcast, where we are going to look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Duane Weed.
Hello, and welcome to the Discover Montcalm Podcast. My name's Duane. I'm the host and producer. I'm kind of relaxed today in the studio, kind of getting things started before I head off on Monday for my teaching job at the Montcalm Area Career Center. So today I'm spending a little time putting episode 118 together as we journey through Montcalm County. During our past episodes, I've interviewed quite a few people, and this time I kind of focused on why Montcalm County? Why should they discover? So in episode 3, we met up with Jodi Litwiller from Busy Bee in Sheridan, Stanton area. Jodi shared her journey of building a business and the charm of creating a place that connects and supports the local community. Why would somebody want to discover Montcalm County?
Montcalm County is really a beautiful county. There's so many small businesses that are just hidden little treasures. Like at our old location, we were down Sydney Road, 4.5 miles off from 66, and I considered us a hidden treasure. There's just so many little shops off the beaten path that people have no idea even exist. When you're driving around, you can admire farm country and animals, and there's just a lot that brings people to our area. And I didn't grow up here. I'm kind of a transplant. And so I moved to Montcalm County in 1998. And I have always lived in the Sheridan, Stanton area. And I'm just overwhelmed at the kindness of the people. So I think if you really reach out, and touch base with these smaller businesses, you will be surprised at the love that you'll be embraced with when you visit. And it's not just our shop, it's any business that you go to. It's just that same warm welcome, and people invite you in, and it just means a lot.
And that's the purpose of Discover Montcalm.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing the podcast, is because from every corner of our county, there are these hidden gems, whether they're businesses or attractions, or lakes and streams, or whatever they might be. We want to tell that story.
Yeah.
In episode 10, we introduced Jason Teegarden of 180 Design in Carson City. Jason discussed why he chose Montcalm County, why they chose Carson City as a place to run their business, and what he likes best about the Carson City, Montcalm area. Why should somebody discover Montcalm?
It's just a local, small, humble place, a nice community with a lot of great people. Everybody's very willing to help everyone out. Everybody would give, almost everybody in town would give their shirt off their back for you, no matter what it was you needed. We've just built a nice, friendly community of people that are just willing to make you feel at home, no matter if you're an outsider or not.
You talked about the community of Carson City. What do you try to do to give back? What are some things that are happening over there that you go, this is my community? What do you do to kind of help?
We do a lot. We try to do as much of it as we can, as far as we do a lot of golf outing signs that we donate. We do a lot of wrestling. We do a lot of apparel and stuff for the school. We're actually donating a lot for the Crystal Lake Car Show that's coming up here. Anywhere that we can kind of help out, any kind of charity, any kind of silent auction.
But remember, he still has to get paid to do some of his
work,
or he doesn't have the funds to give back. So just when you're listening to this or you're watching this, that's that way with any business.
Absolutely.
And I just want to make sure that we're here, we want to grow so that we can give back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, it's really nice talking to you today. In episode 17, Carrie O'Connor from Great Start highlighted the value of the Montcalm County parks all around the areas and the value they bring to families and kids from all over our county.
I think being open
to the diversity that does exist within Montcalm County is something that as an adult in coming back, I see now and I value, but before I didn't understand the importance of it. So just recognizing the differences between Howard City and Greenville and Stanton and Vestaburg, and being aware of what strengths each one of those have, because each one of them has a little gold mine. Like I think about the libraries, I think about the activities that the school, like the elementary school or the high schools put on. Like every one of those communities have some really great gems happening, and
some very unique businesses.
Yes.
as you go across. There's a lot of hardworking people, entrepreneurs, and some manufacturing, but some retail, and then some out in the country shops that you can come by. And there's also some, we can't forget about the lakes. We have at least one.
Yeah,
That's sarcasm.
I
time.
know.
But the idea that we've got a lot going on as far as wildlife and the outdoor side. We're in the fall you can hit a lot of apple orchards. In the springs, in the spring you can kind of take walks down by the river when the leaves are starting to come and turn green, and then winter offers its own little rewards. There's
the trails. One of the things that we've been trying to be intentional about, speaking of playgroup activities, we've really been trying to get families to recognize the park system. We have some amazing parks, and young children love to be outside, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall. And so getting parents out into the parks and being intentional about moving some of our activities. You mentioned the apple orchards, and I think about the different activities that Anderson and girls have, the different activities that Deer Track Junction, which is technically not quite in Montcalm County, but it's close enough, or even Fruchthofen Farms. Like, they've been great partners with us in helping our families with young children know that these things exist in our community and they're welcome.
In episode 51, I was just walking through the Truefit Flea Market. I ran into a gentleman. His name was Richard Rush. And I sat down and was interviewing him, and I asked him a question. Tell me about growing up in Montcalm County. This is his story.
This is Richard Rush, and I'm going to give you a little history of Montcalm County. I grew up, was born just north of Sheridan, south of Stanton. My dad had a farm there, and in my growing up, my brothers, they were older than me, but my dad formed a dairy business called Rush & Sons Dairy. He started by putting it in canning jars and delivering it to Sheridan, Stanton, Crystal, and Greenville. As we progressed, we started pasteurizing milk and having our own cows and taking care of our own. And out of it, we got to know several people in the area. In doing the farming business to take care of the dairy, we used to get together with all the farmers in the neighborhood. That was back when you shared doing things.
Listening to Richard tell his story is exactly the reason why I enjoy doing the Discover Montcalm podcast so much. I like to get to know people and where they came from and what they're doing and how they came back to the area. And to me, that is so important. So if your family has been in this area or you've been in this area and you have some history, I would love to talk to you. Reach out to me at 231-250-9624. In episode 78, I caught up with Jim Aaron from WGLM 106.3 FM in Greenville. and he shared kind of his view on why everything should be local. In your mind, why should someone discover Montcalm County?
Right. This county, we looked before we bought the stations. Of course, we were in Ionia, so it's just one county up. But we came up here and we spent a year deciding whether to buy it or not once it was offered for sale. So I came up, spent several weeks, went around the county, and was just impressed with the small town atmosphere, which you like, but still, big town stuff you can get. And
it's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not far from Lansing or Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and Mount Pleasant, depending on where you're at in the county, determines where you're going to.
If you're a gambler, you're going to Mount Pleasant.
That's right, that's right. And Larry Snow in episode 55 kind of touched on the different schools that he went to in Greenville that are no longer there.
But right now, let's take a look at Larry Snow's history of Greenville and the surrounding area. Take it away, Larry.
My name is Larry Snow. I was born in 1938 in Greenville. I grew up in Greenville, been here most all my life. I graduated from the high school in Greenville. In fact, back in the old days, there was old little schools, Clay Street and Pearl Street and Cass Street schools. They've all been torn down since. I went to all of them.
In your opinion, why should someone discover Montcalm County?
We have a lot of history. We have a lot of old buildings. We have a lot of really nice churches. We have an excellent civic center that puts on plays and all kinds of stuff year-round. We have the Danish Festival that people come from miles and miles around to the Danish Festival. We have the original Fred Meyer Trail that circles Greenville. The trail is over 8 miles long. It goes around a beautiful Baldwin Lake.
In episode 64, I talked to Jacob Begard from the Montcalm Alliance and The Right Place. And we talked about why he liked discovering Montcalm County when he came to the area and started at the Montcalm Alliance. Why, in your mind, should someone discover Montcalm County?
Well, that's a really, really good question. For me, growing up where I grew up, Montcalm County was drive-through country, really. Going down to Grand Valley. So really it was a stop at a gas station here or there. And as I was in the application process and interview process for this job, just learning about how many lakes, how many trails, the hunting and fishing areas, really the outdoor amenities for me are something that I like to focus on. And I think going through the pandemic, not necessarily speaking for the entire millennial generation, but folks like me who grew up in a more rural area, went off to college, said the city and the downtown, maybe in an urban core, is not necessarily for me. So your point to fast broadband and good Wi-Fi and good internet in these rural counties, if you can come in and have a good spot to live, that's why we're in the housing space, and you can work for a company that's based in Grand Rapids or California or anywhere really, and that wage stays here in Montcalm County, and you can go take a lunch break and walk the Fred Meyer Trail or the White Pine Trail, or go out and do some kayaking on any given lake. I mean, we're within a stone's throw of a body of water.
Yes.
I think it seems anywhere in the county here. Yeah. So for me, that's something that I would say a lot of folks have yet to discover about Montcalm.
The Discover Montcalm podcast is brought to you by WGLM 106.3 FM, Be More Media, West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, and DW Video. Connect and follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our episodes at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. We look forward to featuring your business, community, nonprofit, events, and more. Contact Duane at 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624. Thank you for tuning in and following the Discover Montcalm podcast.